the Wednesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks, third day of February 2021. It was kind of a pretty average early February day today. Temperatures up around freezing this afternoon with a chilly wind, but it was nice to see some sunshine out there at times today. 5 years ago today, it was a lot nicer outside. 5 years ago today, we set a record high for today's date, February 3rd, 2016. The high was 62. You know, it's been a pretty mild winter, but we haven't had a lot of temperature extremes this winter. We haven't had a day like we did 5 years ago where temperatures spiked into the 60s. There have been some 70-degree winter days in the last few years, but not this winter. It's just been kind of a dull, warm winter, if you will. And the forecast going forward is anything but warm, but of course December and January were several degrees above the average. All right, time lapse from today. Our camera rocking and rolling a little bit with that chilly breeze. Don't forget, Valentine's Day, as that billboard says, is coming up on Sunday, February 14th. It more than likely will be a pretty cold Valentine's Day this year. This deck of lake-enhanced or lake-effect cloudiness has started to shift over the area this evening after kind of hanging out to our north and west this afternoon. Visible satellite picture from today shows the clouds. That's the stuff that's moving. The white that you see here that's not moving, of course, that is the snow cover. Just about all of Ohio, the panhandle of West Virginia and western Pennsylvania has some snow on the ground as a result of that slow-moving storm, which is finally getting off the playing field now. The last vestiges of that, some snow showers from Quebec through Burlington, Vermont, places like that. But that's pretty much it for that long-duration system. Our next weather maker is right out here. This is the front that's going to come marching east and bring us much colder weather by Friday and the weekend. All right, some signs of spring starting today. Today begins the 3 months of the year we call solar spring. That's the quarter of the year, about 6 weeks on either side of the equinox, that we gain daylight at the fastest rate. From now through the first few days of May, we pick up well over 2 minutes of daylight per day. In fact, today was 2 minutes and 17 seconds longer than yesterday. Of course, the sun continues to get higher in the sky, and that process really accelerates as we go into late February and into March. Our first 6 p.m. sunset is coming up on the 18th. Sunrises will be back at 7 a.m. on the 26th, and meteorological spring begins March the 1st, and we're only about 5 weeks and change away from daylight saving time returning, which means, of course, later sunsets. In the meantime, this bank of lake effect clouds will dissipate overnight, and we'll see some milky sunshine for Thursday. Cold start to the day, but a better afternoon than today. Temperature-wise, not quite as breezy as well. This warm front heads our way tomorrow night. Now, at the onset of this, tomorrow evening, 9, 10, 11 o'clock, we might pick up a slushy accumulation of snow before a change over to mixed precipitation and rain. Best chance for that will be over towards I-79 in Mercer and Lawrence counties. But even if you get a slushy half an inch of snow, it'll be washed away probably by some rain overnight. I think a lot of us just go to plain rain for a few hours as temperatures bob up into the mid-30s overnight. But then any warming is short-lived, because while the precipitation pushes away by daybreak Friday morning, the cold air will come rushing in. It'll be accompanied by wind, some gusts to 30, 35, maybe even 40. Friday afternoon, no fun at all, and that'll set the stage for a blustery and cold start to the weekend. Here's only the model spread with any potential wet snow for Thursday night. You can see that, there's a little bit of a spread here from basically nothing on the RPM to up to an inch maybe on the GFS and NAM models. So again, a lot of us won't even notice if we get some small accumulation of snow because it'll turn to rain and just sort of wash away. Any wet and slushy areas will freeze up pretty quickly by Friday morning, though, and the wind will howl, and wind chills will be mostly in the single digits and lower teens by the afternoon on Friday. All right, some good news if you're not a fan of the snow. The potential for accumulating snow this weekend is going down, along with some other changes to the kind of the medium-range forecast here. We've been talking about how snow is pretty likely on Sunday, even though we never really advertised the possibility of some sort of significant accumulation. Any accumulations always were going to be pretty minor, but now it looks like this may not be much more than flurries. Saturday night into Sunday morning, and Sunday afternoon maybe halfway decent. And then again, things are very up in the air for next week as far as details on the timing of both the cold and any precipitation that comes with that cold. So, boy, forecast confidence in any sort of impactful snow or any snow at all next week is pretty low. Latest run of the Euro here has maybe some light snow and flurries Monday morning, and maybe a return of low pressure by midweek. Look how much warmer the European model came in today compared to previous runs. So warm that it suggests by Tuesday afternoon, instead of temperatures mostly in the teens, it'll be warm enough for rain Tuesday afternoon. Much warmer changes on the modeling for early in the week. Some of this probably has some merit. Some of it probably is a little overdone. I'm a little skeptical that it's warm enough for rain Tuesday afternoon, but boy, it has a lot of forecasters kind of scratching their heads next week when it comes to the details. Why the warmer trends in the modeling for early next week? Well, previous runs of a lot of the models had, this lobe of the polar vortex coming down and kind of dive bombing the Great Lakes. The cold just overwhelms everything. Now it looks like it'll kind of hit a little bit of a roadblock and kind of there's two separate vortices here. One here, one here. This one gets off the playing field. This one doesn't come far enough to the south just yet early in the week to provide the true blast of Arctic air. And so I think it's a delayed but not denied kind of a thing, because you'll notice as we go into the second half of next week, this thing then just sort of dumbbells around and finally starts to come crashing through the Great Lakes, and that's when probably the true Arctic air will arrive. But it may be, early in the week is not half bad. What we did with our actual forecast that you see me do on TV and you can find on the app, it was kind of a half step. We don't have a forecast that's so warm now that we have the possibility of rain on Tuesday. But these temperatures compared to average, instead of a minus 18 on Tuesday, now we have kind of a minus 12, and that, practically speaking, means our forecast high is in the lower 20s on Tuesday. Now, tomorrow you may see me go on TV and show a forecast closer to 30 or something on Tuesday, but for now, it's a half step, and this is one of those things that, experienced forecasters don't flip and flop with every model run. We take half measures in the medium range. Now, sometimes in the short range, on day 1 or day 2 of a forecast, you got to make a big change if that's what you need to do. But it's rare that you're going to see us make some sort of huge 15-degree temperature change on days 6 or 7 or 8, something like that. So stay tuned. I think the cold is definitely coming next week. It may be the heart of it, though, is in the latter portions of the week instead of the early portions of the week. And I do think it has some staying power. 8 to 14-day outlook from the CPC. No surprise here. In fact, a little Barney cold on the playing field here in the 8 to 14-day period. So, nothing has changed as far as our overall ideas for the month of February. It's going to be the coldest month of the winter season. Probably coldest compared to average late next week into next weekend. And beyond that, while it may not be as cold compared to the average, still, it doesn't look very mild at all. Thanks for watching tonight's Wednesday evening edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. I'll see you back here wherever you're watching this video, whether it be on Facebook or YouTube or WFMJ.com/weather or the Storm Tracker 21 app. You can watch in those same places, same time on Thursday.